Do you ever get a nostalgic rush? Roblox tried to capture that feeling in the classic event, but many would consider it a failure. With that unrelated hook out the way, let's have a look at some of the classic games that I would consider classic, or the games that I would play way back in the day. This might be subjective, but that's fine. Spire is a great franchise, game, I don't know what you would call it. There's a lot of versions of it on Roblox. I'll first pay my respects to the original Spire that I played first way back in the day. It's pretty barren. The weapons are obviously the original, but I wouldn't play it now in my free time. Now, if we look at the Super Spire game, I think that's my favorite on Roblox. It embodies the same charm from the original and modernizes it. Strangely enough, they one-up Bloxy but choose not to boast about it. There's so many weapons in different versions of the classic loadout we all know and love, and there's even different modes. It's well made and has decent replayability, but getting coins is the hardest part, and the really good items are incredibly expensive. Something about being able to blow up things is really satisfying, which is what pulls me to the series so much. Now, I want to check in with a classic game that everyone knows. It's the game that was my first game on Roblox and probably many others. How's our old buddy doing these days? Ah, I see. I wonder why there's so many hackers. It's probably because Stickmaster Luke doesn't care because he's living off of a yacht somewhere in the ocean. I mean, look how popular this game is still. Apart from UI changes, the game has remained mostly untouched for years, and it's just one of those games that can kinda get away with it. It's a great game, but it gets boring after a little bit. There's no real things to work for, you just survive and there's no like coin system, so I don't know. It's nice to come back to every now and then though. Another game that can get away with this barren art style is Hide and Seek Extreme. Again with a surprisingly high player count. It's so ridiculously simple that it's surprising that it still has this player base. I mean, you can see the shop and there's different seekers that you can buy with different abilities, but only sometimes. There's also pets that do a great job of exposing your location. There's not a lot to say about this game. It gets boring pretty quick when you're just sitting in a corner, slowly watching the distance between you and the seeker fluctuate while you spectate them. That's 99% of the game. Really quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to my Discord server and consider subscribing. Now, I'll go on to a super fan favorite. I and others love this game dearly. It's gonna be Speedrun 4. It brings a lot of satisfaction, speedrunning through levels, with the nostalgic music played in the background. Well, when I look at it again, it seems like it was updated. Oh no. It caught the pet simulator disease. They don't even do it well. When you run, you gain energy, which you can sell for cash, which allows you to buy more pets. That's it. There's literally no advantage to having pets. It's just an infinite cycle that you can't even trade them. Well anyways, the standard levels are obviously nice, but they added 15 new levels and they look so nice. Like really, look at this! There may be new levels, but they have nothing on the original murderer. I think as a generation, we've all developed a hatred for one thing and we didn't know it. This stupid, god-awful level. It's the level that ends 99.9999999% of people's runs. It's the level that decides who's worthy and who stays at the bottom. Truly a trial that is not for the faint of heart. I'm glad to see that some things haven't changed. Apart from the things that I said before, the game didn't really have a lot of replayability back then. Overall, it's a great game. I mean, just don't mind the pets, it's okay. I'd also like to mention that there is a classic version of this game that you can play in case you don't like the new updates by the actual creator, so that's pretty cool. The next on the list is Epic Minigames. The second game I played on Roblox. This is an amazing game because it has multiple games, so there's a lot of variety. There's 130 minigames as of now, and the devs somehow keep coming up with new ideas for more to this day. You know, the game has stayed pretty much the same throughout the years, but for those that don't know, the whole concept of the game is that you just do minigames and try to win. When you win, you get coins, which you can spend in the shop for cosmetic items like pets, items, or titles. My favorite part about this is that when you win, the game announces who beat the minigame at the end. They added a party mode, which you can probably guess where it took inspiration from, which is actually really fun, surprisingly. You move across a board, according to the number of spaces you roll on your dice. There's traps and stuff, and your whole goal is to collect as many coins as you can to buy diamonds, as many diamonds as possible. It's important to note that you need diamonds specifically. Having the most coins does not make you win. At the end of everyone's turn, everyone plays a minigame. The party mode is actually really fun and it incorporates the minigames into it really well. I gotta say that I like what they've done. It's a game that doesn't need constant updates because what are the odds that you get the same minigame 2 times in a row? But in a weird way, it gets stale despite this. I mean, what the game doesn't lose is the ability to come back and play it every once in a while, which is probably why it's still alive. Alright, let's move on to a game that got this video made in the first place. Super Bomb Survival. This game is almost unrecognizable from the game I used to know. Your whole goal is to survive for a lengthy duration, mind you, while bombs of all sorts rain on you. What I didn't know was that there's now billions of kinds of bombs now. I mean, the game is actually now pretty intense. You constantly need to think on your feet and strategize while trying to not get hit by homing missiles, stationary bombs, and other exotic bombs, and trying to navigate the terrain, which gets destroyed, revealing an area of lava underneath. At least they're fairly generous with the custom health. There's also a whole perk system and different skills and things for variety, which is actually quite a welcome feature. I'd say that this game is really fast-paced and fun, but unfortunately, this is just one of the games on the list that isn't doing so well now in terms of player count, which is sad to see. Okay, here, think about it like this. You won't really notice the low amount of players because it's a guaranteed chance that when you load into a game, your server is going to be full, so it doesn't matter anyways. So, never hesitate to give this game a try. Or other games that have low player counts. They could still be hidden gems. Next, we have Murder Mystery 2. I completely forgot about this game, shout out to Phoenix. But this is a game I used to find fun, but I don't play anymore. A little funny story, a few years ago I met this person in Rocket League and we both played Roblox. He was really into MM2 and things happened, but he unfriended me. And then he friended me again later. Apparently during that time he got a girlfriend and they were both playing MM2 and I joined him. Out of nowhere he gave me these super rare dives for literally no reason. I didn't want to accept them, but apparently he was Mr. Moneybags and he insisted. He then unfriended me again and I haven't seen him since. I only have these knives as a reminder. I was also given this uber rare knife by just a random person in a lobby. Story aside, this is the most popular game on this list. It's pretty fun, but it's just like all the other games on this list where you kind of just do one thing over and over again. But that's just kind of what these classic games are. It's also a great place for e-daters. And finally, now we have the honorable mentions. Even though this isn't a tier list, that doesn't matter. Alright, the first is Arsenal. I would have included it, but for some reason I lagged just enough to make watching it unbearable. It's a game I'm not personally attached to, because I used to not be interested in playing shooter games on my phone, outside of Pixel Gun 3D, so I didn't really care, but I know it's an enormous fan favorite, which is why it still has this player count to this day. There's now Tower Battles Battlefront. This is solely included because of a certain someone. It's not particularly OG, but it was apparently made in 2018. The game at the very least looks OG in its art style, so it sneaks onto this list. Okay, fine, I'll do work at a pizza place. I know, I can already smell the comments already. Okay, a little bit of a confession. This is the first time I've played this game ever. I know, throw your tomatoes. I just don't and never have cared for roleplay and stuff. I know that's not the entire game, but that just never interested me. Playing it, I can see why it's stuck with so many people. There's quite a variety of jobs to do, and each one is unique. My favorite, though, is the delivery driver, just because you get to move around. I like when you do something wrong and the people get mad at you. There's even a feature where you can buy new houses and decorate them, which is really cool. There's other things as well, but there's just so much to do that it wouldn't fit in this video alone. I think that's all the games on this list. You know, I'm kind of enjoying making these videos because I can check out a lot of games at once. If there's any games I missed, let me know down below. I'll probably respond. I know there's gotta be a game that, I'm gonna get spammed with. So, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, be sure to like the video and subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Have a good day. Goodbye. Goodbye.